We are seeing some light snow developing. All right, we'll get to the forecast in a second. I want to give you the snowfall departures, meaning snowfall versus normal, and we're still running well below normal here. We kind of figured January would be an interesting month. We didn't figure January would have a whole lot of cold. We figured we'd get a January thaw, which we did. But he also didn't think we'd have this deficit, and unfortunately, this deficit is something that we've seen here in the last 10 years. Officially 17 inches, the average through January 30th. When we look over the last 10 years, typically we use 30 years, but in this case I'm going to use 10, is around 26. The years in blue would indicate years that have been above normal, which is actually last year we were slightly above normal at the end of January. And then you look at the years going back since the winter of 2013 and 2014. Now, snow, current radar, and temperatures right now in the low 30s, falling into the upper 20s in northwestern Ohio. This is kind of a sleety or light snow. The cold front is moving into Toledo currently. Now, what will happen, this front's going to track through the area later today, probably around 6 p.m. or so. Here's the light snow. Look at these temps. Chicago at 11. So temps will continue to go down. We'll be in the mid-20s by 6, 7 p.m. We'll have small accumulations today, partial melting with some slick spots, additional accumulations. We might get another coating up to maybe a quick half of an inch in a couple of spots. All right, now look at the wind chills falling. Wind chills in the mid-teens. We'll see wind chills falling into the mid-teens later on tonight with temperatures at around 15. Some peaks of sun tomorrow, well below normal with a high in the lower middle 20s. Now look at the snowfall across the country so far. This is versus normal. Well above normal snowfall from central Wisconsin, northern Iowa, northern Nebraska, upstate Michigan, upper peninsula Michigan rather, and out west. Notice below normal snowfall from central Kansas through the Ohio Valley, southern Great Lakes, all the way up through New England. Again, well below normal. We figured we'd be at least near normal at this point. And the way this is going now, this week features more cold, right? Coldest week we've had in over a month, but not a whole lot of snow. So with the absence of snow and the absence of really extreme cold this month, we haven't really had a whole lot of ice on Lake Erie. So I was looking back at all the years. Our Lake Erie ice data, officially day-to-day ice coverage, goes back to 1972. So roughly 50 winters. We had 22% ice coverage, I think it was, around Christmas time. So we look at all the years that never made it above 25% through the end of January. All right, so there's only 10 of them. 2 years ago, this year obviously, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we have a couple in the early 2000s, a handful here in the 80s and 90s. Notice none in the 70s. Of these 10 winters, how many of these ended up with 70% ice coverage? In other words, how many of these ended up with extreme cold to drive the increase in ice coverage? And there's only 4. 1 2 years ago, 94, 95, 92, 93, 88, 89. What type of conditions were across the Great Lakes? Long stretches of extreme cold, meaning a lot of days in the 20s, a lot of days below freezing. And in those years, the 70% ice coverage lasted for several weeks. It wasn't just a one-off, right? It wasn't like the ice coverage went up and then it melted off. It lasted for 2, 3, and a couple of those years, it was more than 4 weeks. So are we going to see that type of pattern? At least not in the next week and a half. We get these colder periods in like 3 or 4 day chunks. You end up getting a break, and then the cold kind of reloads again in the upper Midwest. So we'll develop some ice on Lake Erie, but we're not going to get 70% at all here in the next couple weeks. And then the snow, of course, is pretty limited here to the northern half of the Great Lakes. Today, light snow. Could see a touch of lake effect early Wednesday. Didn't officially put it in the 8-day yet. Not really confident with that. Front Thursday, front Sunday. What you see pretty much is what you're going to get here. We'll make small adjustments as we go. More updates online. You can follow me on Twitter, Scott Sabol Fox 8. Also, Scott Sabol Pics. I'm on Instagram. You can send me an email too, scott.sabol@fox8.com. My weather blog, Scott's World of Weather. This will be the 18th year I've had my weather blog. The next post, by the way, in my weather blog, I'm going to compare the blizzard that we had around Christmas time, weather-wise, to the blizzard that we had in 1978. So you can check that out later today. I'm hoping I can get it today, if not tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.